The IPL is known for its share of nail biting finishes and heart stopping moments. But every now and then, you get a game where one side wins easily, there's nothing much that actually happens in the game, and just cricket carries on seamlessly. Um, when you need a break from all the heart-stopping moments, it's good to have a game like this, like we had in match number 34, with LSG registering a completely easy win against CSK. Sarvesh, not the most exciting game, but a clinical performance nevertheless
Yeah,
from Lucknow.
yeah. I mean, doing that against CSK, uh, they were at home, but it felt like they were playing at Chennai. So this is now becoming a norm this season. So I think yeah, it was a good win for them, and it was like you said, the word is clinical. It was a clinical win because they won by 8 wickets, and I mean, of course, on the scorecard, it will still say that they won in the 19th over, so it won't tell the full story. But once they stopped CSK in no when once they stopped CSK from reaching to that 180 190 mark, I think they were in the game and they never let that grip go. So they had that firm grip when they came to bat in the second innings, and then they were in complete control.
You make a good point there because it was a home game from for Lucknow, but the pitch seemed very similar to the kind of pitches that we've seen over the years in Chennai.
Yeah,
It was gripping a bit, it was slowish, it wasn't the best pitch to bat on, and that is reflective of the scores that we see. So CSK batting first, 176 for 6 in 20 overs. The other reason why it felt like Chennai were playing at home was the sea of yellow in the crowd. I don't know if they were Chennai fans or they were MS Dhoni fans, but you definitely could see a lot more yellow shirts in the crowd than the LSG jerseys. Um,
yeah.
with 176, as you said, about 15-20 runs short on that wicket.
I think uh, when the first innings got over, I felt they had maybe 5 to 6 runs over par because I felt 170 would be a par score on this wicket, given the kind of bowling attack CSK have. But again, I think on this wicket they needed somebody like a Shardul Thakur to control that middle over space, and that's where I think they could not get those wickets because Shardul is a genuine wicket taker, and on such wickets he becomes even more critical. So I felt they missed that trick that they needed somebody like him in that middle over space. But still, you would back CSK to defend that kind of a total on a slowish wicket because that's what they get at their home ground in Chennai. So I felt they had a decent total. They had a good total, just about par maybe or slightly over par. But you expect a much better performance from CSK when they reach closer to that par score. So I felt they had a case there, but it was just that brilliant batting performance from KL Rahul, and he was. I won't say he was well supported by Quinton de Kock, but he hung in there and he had that partnership going, which ultimately helped them.
Yes, when it's IPL time, one thing you can guarantee is that KL Rahul will get runs no matter what. And we'll talk a bit more about that later. But let's have a quick look at what CSK did with the bat. They opened with Ajinkya Rahane and Rachin Ravindra, which is a slightly newish opening pair for them, moving away from the whole Rachin and Ruturaj Gaikwad combination. Um, but things not really working out for Rachin Ravindra in the last few games, have they, Sarvesh?
Yeah.
Because what we saw at the beginning of the tournament was that he was giving them some really good starts, as you can see from the stats over there. The first game against Bengaluru, 37 of 15. He's got 46 of 20 in the second game. But since then, that 2 of 12 deliveries
Yeah.
against the Delhi Capitals, then 12 of 9 against the Sunrisers Hyderabad, 15 of 8, 21 of 16, and today getting a golden duck. Um, do you see anything in particular that is going wrong, or does he need to do something different?
I think I mean, you can't. I mean, this was the seventh game, so now he has played all the games, so he has now good understanding of what is going to come at him. He had a good World Cup, but this is a different format, so you have to make those adjustments. And I think he's still very young and raw at this as for this stage is what I feel. And what happens is in at this level of experience, once you get into that rut, sometimes it becomes difficult for you to get out of it. So I think he had that good start, but I think now he's stuck some in that bad run of form. So he's just trying to get out of it. And today he got a very good one from Mohsin Khan. I think That was a brilliant delivery, but I think even in that dismissal, you would still feel that technically he wasn't correct. I mean, that was pure. That was a good delivery, but he could have done better on that. So I think he's stuck in that middle of that bad patch.
Yeah, you're right because when you leave a gap between your bat and your pad,
Yeah,
and someone finds a way through, we see that most batters who are test quality batters, which Rachin clearly
yeah,
is, the gap that they miss the ball by is normally quite small. Today, that
yeah.
gap was
That's
huge.
yeah,
And I don't know if our viewers have had the time to watch an international game yesterday between New Zealand and Pakistan that only two deliveries got bowled. Shaheen Shah Afridi bowling the first over got one to come back in for a guy called Tim Robinson, who I don't think anybody watching this show might know or not, but he's a Wellingtonian boy and he's been picked for the Black Caps. But again, what was noticeable that he missed that ball by
yeah,
about this much. Now, when you start missing balls by that much, it's A, there is a technical issue there. B, it also tells me that the head is a bit muddled because you don't know which way it's swinging. And I just think looking at Rachin in the last few games, um, I think he's been given the mandate to go out there after the bowling. Um, but I think he also needs to understand that he cannot hit every ball, and he needs to respect the good
yeah,
ones. And then when he gets a loose ball, that's when he has to kind of put it away. So,
yeah.
yeah, hopefully he finds his way again in the tournament.
I think CSK have tried to do something tactical with Rachin's run and with their middle order issues right now, because in my opinion their middle order seems light. It Everything comes down to Shivam Dubey batting well in that middle overs phase, and if he doesn't do that, they are in a spot of bother. I always felt that they are in bit of a trouble when he doesn't get going. So I think what they have done is they have pushed Ajinkya Rahane at the top, where he can play those shots. So that allows Rachin some time, and then after buying his time, Rachin can play his shots freely. And what that does is that also pushes Ruturaj Gaikwad at number three, so that middle order gets a bit of a strength there with Ruturaj Gaikwad playing at number three. So I think they have tried to do this adjustment. It hasn't worked out because last game I think Rahane got out early against Mumbai Indians, and this game Rachin got out early. So I think this hasn't worked out well, but I think it's tactically. I think they have looked to do something, which is always a good sign because you want team to be proactive. So I think yeah, they are. I think looking to do something about it.
Awesome. Hopefully he comes back because he's an important cog in the wheel for that Chennai Super Kings side. Yeah, if we go back to that scorecard, two other things happened today. We saw a promotion for Ravindra Jadeja up the order, coming in at number 4. Now, Jadeja has not had the best of times in white ball cricket with the bat. So it was quite surprising to see him come up the order. Your thoughts on that move tactically when you have someone like Shivam Dubey who's been scoring runs left, right, and center? Or was it purely due to the fact that the fast bowlers were on at that time and the power play was on that they wanted Jadeja to go up there, get some runs?
I think the yeah. I mean, we don't normally see Shivam Dubey batting inside that power play. That's one thing. And the second thing is that LSG they had a leg spinner and a left arm spinner. So in this case, I think they must have thought that they want two left-handers batting in that middle overs phase. So I think they sent Ravindra Jadeja up and then they sent Shivam Dubey. So that these two guys could basically negotiate those two spinners from LSG. I think that was the thought process, and I think you need to do something about these spinners, especially when you play at Lucknow or wickets like Chennai. So I think they again tactically they tried to manage that threat well, and I think they. I mean, 57 from 40 doesn't look like a great score, but if you look at that middle order, I mean, nobody has got runs. Rachin,
Yeah.
Ruturaj, Shivam Dubey, Samir Rizvi. I mean, all these guys they couldn't get going. So I think when you after end of the day, that score looks good on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, they will have to thank Jadeja for that
Yeah,
176 because the way they were going and batting was tough, and it was right in the middle of a Krunal Pandya spell where
yeah,
he was bowling really well. So it was good to see Jadeja actually put his head down, and I was quite impressed with the way he actually started because the intent was there
yeah,
to kind of score. Then when he lost a couple of partners, he had to kind of slow down a bit. But yeah, remaining not out in the end there and getting his side to 176. The other thing to talk about is with their use of the impact sub in this innings. Now we saw Samir Rizvi coming in. They subbed out Ajinkya Rahane after he got dismissed. They brought in Samir Rizvi. Um, Your thoughts on that move? Because I'll tell you where I'm coming from. Is they had Moeen Ali, who's an international batter, waiting to bat. They've got MS Dhoni, who's been in phenomenal form in this tournament, and we keep saying, why doesn't he come up slightly ahead of where he wants to? Plus, they had the likes of Deepak Chahar, who is very good with the bat. They've got Tushar Deshpande there, who's just recently got a Ranji Trophy 100. So they had cover. Was it necessary to bring in Samir Rizvi and then sacrifice someone like a Shardul Thakur with the ball?
I think Samir Rizvi, he's known for his batting against spin. He is known for uh, playing those good shots against quality spin bowlers. So I think that's his reputation in domestic cricket. And CSK, I felt they tried to use that to good effect, because on this wickets, when spinners were bowling, you need somebody, a specialist batter, who can do that job for you. And Shivam Dubey couldn't get going. So I think it was that kind of a move. I think they must have calculated that if Shivam Dubey doesn't get going, if he gets out early, then probably they will send Rizvi up. Otherwise, if Shivam Dubey manages to stay there and score some quick runs, then I felt you rightly pointed out, Shardul Thakur would have come in instead of someone else. So I think this was the move that they must have planned. But since Shivam Dubey got out early, I mean, come on, I mean, you cannot be expecting consistent run making from any one player. I mean, your entire batting middle order is basically, this is what I feel. Your entire middle order is basically dependent on Shivam Dubey getting those 40, 50 runs. I mean, you cannot be over reliant on one or two players. I mean, that's the underline. So I think, just because of that wicket, I felt that triggered Samir Rizvi's substitution. And you rightly pointed out, they missed out on Shardul Thakur, and Shardul Thakur on this wicket, he could have been very handy.
Yeah. Also, with substituting players, you get a sense of what the side is thinking because they substituted Ajinkya Rahane out, who's a brilliant fielder,
Yeah.
brilliant outfielder, brilliant in the slips, brilliant catcher. But they kept Shivam Dubey in.
Yeah.
Was it due to the fact that somewhere at the back of their mind they were thinking maybe we might
Yeah.
need to use Shivam Dubey for a couple of overs? They
Yeah.
didn't end up doing that, but maybe that was the thought process behind keeping him in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, had Ajinkya Rane gone, I mean, I felt he should have stayed on, because you rightly pointed out, he's a good fielder, and on a spinning wicket, we know all his credentials when he fields at slips, or even in the outfield. So I think he had a case to stay there, but again, they knew that they would be a bowling option short. So I think that's why they kept Shivam Dubey, because we haven't seen Shivam Dubey fielding a lot in this season. He's always batting, and then he's getting subbed out. So yeah, good observation there.
Yeah, until that one over from Ravi Bishnoi where Moeen Ali took him for three sixes,
Yeah.
this innings was stuck in a mighty old rut. Moeen Ali breaking the shackles in that over, bringing back the momentum towards CSK. Once that momentum was brought back, um, Thala walked in to the absolutely thunderous applause that he gets wherever he goes. The sea of yellow went crazy in that stadium. And we are sitting there watching this game thinking, surely not again. He's not going to do this again. But yet again, Mahendra Singh Dhoni comes out, smacks 28 of 9 deliveries, a strike rate of, yeah, clear your ears, 311.1. Um, Everything he's touching right now is turning to gold. What is it about MSD and why does he keep doing this again and again, Sarvesh?
So this is his two and last match. He got, I think, three sixes. So he has now played 4 plus 9, 13 deliveries. And in those 13 deliveries, he has got 3 plus 2, 5 sixes and 3 fours. So that becomes 8
8.
boundaries out of 13 deliveries that he has faced. So that that conversion rate is pretty high. You will never see somebody hitting those many runs. I mean, 28 and last match he got 20, I think. So that becomes 48 not out in how many? 9 and 4, 3, 13. 48 not out in 13 deliveries in two matches. That, I mean, this is a crazy stat. To put things in perspective, Yuvraj Singh's 50 in that England game, that came in 12 deliveries. So he got 50 from 12. And this score is 48 from 13. I mean, there is no comparison, international game and IPL. But I'm just trying to put
Yeah.
things into perspective. If you combine these two innings, it becomes a even bigger score for him. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I almost get the feeling that sometimes the bowlers that he comes up against are psychologically already scared of him.
Yeah,
Because you see people like Mohsin Khan. Now, Mohsin Khan is a guy who sticks to his plans. You know, his strength is sticking to his line, his length. But he was absolutely shaken up in that 19th over. And then it was followed by Yash Thakur. And that first delivery, when he put it in the slot and Dhoni hit him for six, I was just thinking, oh, poor Yash Thakur. He has really got into Yash Thakur's head because I don't think you play the situation. You start playing the man, and then when you see MS Dhoni there, you are like,
yeah.
doesn't matter what I bowl, he's going to hit me for a six. And in that, you end up bowling your worst deliveries.
If you, I mean, I will try to dig this stat, but I think the bowlers are bowling more wides when they are facing MSD at the back end because they are afraid that they would bowl in his arc, so they are just looking to keep that away from him. So in that process, they are bowling more number of wides. That's one thing that I've observed. And if you have to form a template, if you have to look at a template on how to bowl to MSD, I think last season, if you remember, Sandeep Sharma, he defended I think around
Yep,
16 or 17 runs against MSD, and he bowled that uh, the bowl from that angle from round the wicket where he nailed those yorkers. I think
yep.
bowlers need to do something like that. I think Yash Thakur, they sort of try to do that. They sort of try to replicate that. But those, I mean, you cannot be saved unless you have that yorker in your armory. And if you are confident that you can pull out that yorker, then I think it's good for you. Otherwise, he's going to take you out for a ride. I mean, again, he did it today. So you just need to back your own stand. You need to just nail. I mean, it's not easy, but you need to nail those yorkers when you are against him.
I think that last shot that he hit, because I think Yash Thakur missed his length by
Yeah,
about that
yeah,
much, and MS Dhoni used his wrist and dug it out and got it through point where the gap was. That was just probably the most brilliant shot that I saw him play today.
yeah.
But there you have it. Once again, getting his side to a respectable total, and they finished with 176 for six in their 20 overs. For LSG, we saw a new name on the bowling card today, Matt Henry, proud Kiwi, proud Cantabrian, coming in and doing his bit with the new ball. Bowled decently, I thought, in the power play. 26 from 3 overs when the field is up are good returns. But the story of this innings for me was that spell of Krunal Pandya, because we keep talking about how smart he is and how good he is, and yet again, especially because the matchup was against a guy called Shivam Dube, who's just been carting spinners left, right, and center every game, and Krunal Pandya delivering yet again.
Yeah. So Krunal Pandya is, I think, he's silently having a good season. If you ignore that last game, I think where he went for I think
Yep.
45 in his 3 overs. I think apart from that, I think he's bowling brilliantly. We even calculated his delta that after Jasprit Bumrah, he's somebody who is
Yes.
who is more effective. So I think Krunal is having a good season again today. His numbers were good against Ajinkya Rahane, and he was basically bowling, bowling as per that matchup, and he got him Ajinkya Rahane. And then even after that, we have seen this often this season that on the first ball of the over, when somebody gets dismissed, and if a left-arm spinner is bowling, the person who walks in next is going to be Shivam Dube all the time.
Yep.
This is becoming a template now. This has happened for the fourth time, and it has worked for CSK twice now. Today it
Uh,
couldn't work, but I think it was again down to Krunal Pandya's brilliance because he bowled. This was a slowish wicket, but I think credits to Krunal Pandya the way he bowled even in that over against Shivam Dube. So he's having a good season.
Um, Anyone watching the scorecard will say, well, if he was bowling this well, why did they only give him 3 overs? Why didn't he finish his spell? And similarly with Marcus Stoinis, because he came in, he got the wicket of Shivam Dube, and then they pulled him off the attack because he's got 2 overs for seven with one wicket, which are again brilliant figures.
Yeah.
Did LSG miss a trick by not giving more bowling, by completing Krunal's spell and giving more to Marcus Stoinis?
I think I won't say. I mean, that is how they have been using Marcus Stoinis in the past. I mean, they are pretty smart with their usage of Marcus Stoinis. They are not going to use him for more than 2 overs. Mostly, you'll see them using him for 1 or 2 overs. That's it. I mean, they know that they cannot overdo this, even at a wicket like Lucknow, where ball is gripping, and that this particular wicket suits his bowling. But they don't look to overdo it. That's fine. I mean, he did his job taking that critical wicket of Shivam Dube. I think he did what he had to do. And but probably they had Krunal Pandya. He went for just 16 in his 2 overs. I think probably somewhere down the line they could have used his 1 over, because he's somebody who knows how to bowl those defensive lines even at the back end. So I mean, in hindsight, it's easy to say because Ravi Bishnoi went for plenty. I think around somewhere around 20,
Yeah.
22 in his last over. So in hindsight, it looks like a bad move. But Krunal Pandya, I think he should have completed his full quota anyway.
Yeah, just Ravi Bishnow's figures don't do justice to the
Yeah,
fact that he actually did bowl very well. It's just that 1 over he
yeah,
ran into a rampaging Moeen Ali
yeah,
who took him apart. So yeah, apart from that, he bowled really well. Overall, a good bowling effort. 176. We thought at the halfway stage that maybe CSK has got a few more,
yeah,
um, but as it turned out, in the second innings the pitch turned out to be a completely different wicket,
yeah,
where it was an absolute struggle to pick up even one wicket for a long, long time.
yeah,
Now we speak about LSG's opening partners, Quinton de Kock and KL Rahul, who are both not the typical dashers that you have at the top of the order. Most teams like to have one opener who's going to be very aggressive, but they are the perfect pair for a 176 run chase, aren't they?
yeah. I felt Quinton de Kock got stuck, but I think they managed it pretty well with Rahul. You normally don't see this happen a lot with KL Rahul and de Kock, because most of the times you will see that one of them will look to accelerate and then he will eventually get out. So that did not happen today, luckily for them. And I think KL Rahul, he was making up for those. I mean, Quinton de Kock, he didn't get going at all in that first 4 5 overs. I think it's only in his last over of the power play that he got a critical boundary, and that got him above run a ball, because till that point he was going somewhere at around 80, 90, 95 at a strike rate of 90 95. So I think that last over did the trick for him. And credits to Rahul, because he played a very critical knock there, not just inside that power play, but even when after the power play, it was a difficult innings. It was a difficult pitch to bat, and Quinton de Kock struggled throughout that innings. So the onus was on Rahul, and we all know Rahul likes to bat through. So he's not somebody who is going to take chances every over, but he did that perfectly today. He never allowed that required run rate, to go above 9 or 9.5. So he always had it in control. So I think Rahul, he was at his best. He was very calculative with the risks that he was taking, and he was just brilliant.
I think I mean, whenever we speak about the IPL, KL Rahul's always an orange cap contender.
Yeah,
Come the IPL time, he always delivers, always scores runs. But one of the things that was being widely discussed before the start of this tournament was the fact that where would KL Rahul bat?
yeah,
And uh, despite all the speculation, he has continued to bat at the top of the order. And because of those consistent performances at the top of the order, he has now made an entry into the leaderboard for the orange cap.
yeah,
As you can see, he is in fourth place, 286 runs from 7 innings, at a strike rate which is probably at par with what he normally does, 143. But yeah, it's not surprising to see him there. Um, Now, which brings in quite an interesting uh, uh, debate, because we speak about keepers for Team India in the T20 World Cup. And so far, we said Sanju Samson's got his name in the hat. And we saw Ishan Kishan with that innings the other day put his name into the hat. And we've seen Rishabh Pant with some consistent performances putting his name in the hat. And we've got the evergreen Dinesh Karthik putting his name in the hat. And now today, KL Rahul also kind of, although he's not batting in the position that Team India wants him to bat, you cannot deny the fact that runs on the board are always going to be in his favor. Your thoughts on KL Rahul?
yeah. Uh, I mean, the runs are runs, and we all know that probably there is no place at the top order, because at top in that top three, I think you would feel that Rohit, Virat, and Yashasvi Jaiswal, and then even have Surya Kumar Yadav, who can bat in that top three. So these 3 4 guys are nailed, pretty much nailed in the top four.
And Shubman Gill, don't
Yeah,
forget about Shubman
yeah,
Gill. He's probably there as well.
yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah,
mean, we cannot rule him out. He's having a below par season by his standards, but he's still there
yeah,
at number 7. So that
yeah.
tells us about his quality. So yeah, these 4 5 guys are there. I mean, it is very difficult for anyone to break into that top 4 right now. So the only option for us is that number 5, number 6 spot, where normally Rishabh Pant is batting. Where we have seen Sanju Samson can bat, is not exactly batting there. So again, no, that's question. But basically, Rishabh Pant and Dinesh Karthik are batting in that spot. So that's the only thing I think. But still, runs are runs. He's making a good contribution for his team, and we just cannot ignore KL Rahul, KL Rahul's form, and we all know about his credentials. So that's KL Rahul for you. He can score. He's pretty reliable. We have seen that in the past.
I'm going to ask you a very cheeky question since we are talking about wicket keepers at the
Yeah,
World Cup.
we haven't talked about
we
one guy. Yeah, I know.
yeah, we haven't talked about one guy yet, and a lot of CSK fans and a lot of Team India fans will be saying, "Hi, what about Mahendra Singh Dhoni? Is it too late?" Because we saw yesterday about Sunil Narayan. He's getting all these runs, picking up all these wickets, and there was talk with Roman Powell being asked,
Yeah,
"Hey, are you having the conversation?" Rohit Sharma the other day on a podcast was asked by Michael Vaughan and Adam Gilchrist, saying, "Hi, what about MSD?" And Rohit cheekily said there, it's going to be very difficult to convince MSD. But he did say, I think it'll be easier to convince Dinesh Karthik.
okay, yeah.
So who knows what's going to happen. But just cheekily, Sarvesh, is there still a chance we might see MSD at the World Cup?
It's down to him. It's only he can say yes and he can say no. I mean, people can ask Rohit. I mean, I don't know if he will ask or if the management will go to him. But I think it's completely down to MSD. If he wants to play, he will play. That's the kind of personality he is.
Yeah, he's been at a World Cup before as a mentor.
Mentor,
But
yeah,
I don't think we're going to quite
yeah,
see him as a keeper.
yeah.
But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
All right, quick look at the bowling figures then for CSK. There we have it. As we've already spoken, they kind of missed the services of a Shardul Thakur. Nothing worked for them. They had one chance created, which I thought was quite critical at the stage that the game was. Jadeja found an edge of Quinton de Kock's bat, but
Yeah.
Patirana there dropping an absolute dolly. Um, but yeah, it looked impossible, and it looked like there was no clue as to where the wicket was going to come from. Such was the dominance of the LSG batters.
Yeah.
What could have CSK done differently than what you saw?
I think they needed a few wickets up front. Tushar Deshpande is in good form for them. He could not get that wicket, but I think they needed somebody else because Deepak Chahar was playing this game. Again, we know his strengths. His strength is that swinging ball, but he could not produce those lot many of those deliveries. He couldn't get any wickets. So I think that's what happens. I mean, we have seen this with Rajasthan as well. When your opening bowlers don't get you wickets, then your spinners find it very difficult to control the game from that point. And I think if you look at this team, then you would feel that this team relies a lot on those opening bowlers to give them that wicket because Matisha Patirana he's not going to bowl there inside that batting power play. So he's somebody who is always going to be there in that seventh, eighth, and ninth over. He's always going to be bowling in that phase. So in that power play phase, you need somebody to take wickets. That did not happen, I think, and then that quickly cascaded into the CSK spin bowling department. Ravindra Jadeja, the onus was on him to give them that breakthrough. That didn't come off. I felt they underutilized Moeen Ali. They could have utilized him for one or two more overs probably. There was some help available for him, but I think they didn't go with him. So it was overall. You will see that they have struggled today. Almost all the bowlers.
Just looking at that bowling card, I just feel that that was a perfect pitch for the Fizz, and I
Yeah,
know his figures don't reflect it, but just the kind of surface it was a good pitch for Mustafizur. It would have been a good pitch for Shardul Thakur,
yeah,
and it would have been a good pitch for Mahesh Tikshana as well,
yeah,
because there was something there for the spinners, and he's that kind of bowler who bowls at the same pace probably as Krunal Pandya did,
yeah.
and could have got something. But hey, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and thinking about all this after the game is always easier.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned
Um,
Shardul Thakur, and if you look at his numbers against the CSK batters, he has done a good job. I mean, Devdutt Padikkal didn't play, Deepak Huda didn't play, but still look at his numbers against KL Rahul, got him out twice. That strike rate is still high, but yeah. Marcus Stoinis again 20 runs, to, 2 wickets. Nicholas Puran, he got him out 5 times since 2018 and gave away only 34 runs. Quinton de Kock as well. So I think a, he had a case to play there. Probably that they messed it up with that impact sub. I think had he been there in that bowling attack, I think it could have made some difference because we know he's a wicket taking bowler. So I think yeah, they missed him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those stats tell a story because we often say, how much should we depend on matchups? How much
Yeah,
do we should we depend on stats? But beyond the matchups and the stats, sometimes it's also about gut feel.
yeah,
And the fact that he was in such good, I mean, that game against Mumbai, he brought them back with
yeah,
that over. And he's just that kind of bowler who can do something magical and
yeah,
produce something. And look, they don't lose anything with him in the with the bat either because he actually lengthens that tail even more because
yeah,
he's an as you rightly pointed out, texting me today saying he's an India all-rounder,
yeah.
when we play test matches overseas. Um, so yeah, just probably one of those things that they'll have a good think about when they reassemble for the next game,
Yeah,
because
even he got a
next they're playing.
century in Ranji Trophy just a few months back, just like Tushar
Yeah,
Deshpande. So again, a very good batter in great form, domestic cricket.
and and from what I hear, it was an absolutely swashbuckling counter-attacking innings
Yeah,
when the rest of his side was in deep, deep trouble.
yeah.
I think it might have been against Tamil Nadu, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Mumbai
Playing,
against Tamil Nadu, the semi-final
yeah,
game. Tamil Nadu got bowled out for somewhere around 150, and it felt like Mumbai would get that first innings lead. But they were 106 for 7 wickets, and from that
yeah.
spot, Mumbai scored somewhere close to somewhere around 350, 380,
And
and
he
he was
probably
the
had Tanush Kotian with him.
yeah, Tanush Kotian,
Tanush,
Shardul Thakur, Shardul Thakur, Tushar Deshpande, all these guys they stuck in and they managed that brilliant fight back from there.
yeah. Yeah, sitting far, far away in Wellington, I do keep an eye on what goes on in those Ranji Trophy matches as well. That's how mad we are about anything cricket related. Cool. So that's the story of the game. What has that done to standings in the table?
We need to update the league table. Let me update it quickly. Yeah, now we have the updated table.
Right. So Chennai is still keeping their in the top four. They are in third place, 4 wins from 7 games, thanks to a very strong net run rate there, which is why they keep holding on. Lucknow, though, also same number of points, same number of wins, but just net run rate separating them from Hyderabad and Chennai and Kolkata.
Yeah,
Um, both these sides play again. Like the next game for
next
both
game.
sides is again, it's a reverse fixture.
Yeah,
They're going to be playing in Chennai this time.
yeah.
Um, hopefully the game in Chennai is a lot more exciting than the one we saw today, and it's not a one-sided game. But yeah, Lucknow will be hoping just to carry on.
With the momentum. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
if you look at the pitches and just comparison between the two pitches, I think Lucknow and Chennai are the two wickets where you will feel that ball will grip a lot and spinners will come into the mixture. I think so. I feel if it's going to be a similar wicket, and I think Lucknow will be ready with that because they themselves play on a similar pitch at home. So I think it will be a good game, and we don't see this happen a lot that two teams playing back to back against each other. So I think this will be another good game, and tactically I think CSK will be ready as well because they know that they haven't found out tactically in this game. So I think they will be ready, and like we discuss all the time, no team likes to lose 2 games uh, in a row, and they will be playing at their home. So I think they will be ready.
that is so true. And Chennai haven't done that this season yet. They haven't lost back-to-back yet. They always find a way to win the next game when they lose one. So be good to see what happens there. What have we got tomorrow? We've got Delhi playing SRH, and what's there to look out for in this contest, Sarvesh?
I think looking at DC's form at the top, you will see their form. They have won 2 back-to-back games now. That tells us
Yeah.
that they are actually making a comeback. We felt that they are having they probably are finally getting their combination right. And so now they have Fraser McGurk in that batting lineup, who is doing well for them. They have Tristan Stubbs, who is doing well for them. The bowling unit, Kuldeep Yadav is back. Khalil Ahmed is bowling well. Akshar Patel is doing what Akshar Patel normally does. Rishabh Pant is batting well. So it feels like a settled team right now. So I think they are good. I think they will look to give some challenge to the Sunrisers. Why I say that it's because Sunrisers are becoming they are becoming a serious contender for that top 4 spot. Not just top 4, they could probably end up in top 2 as well. So that's the kind of cricket they're playing. Some aggressive, uh, some aggressive brand of cricket that they are playing right now. So I think it will be a good game, and we have seen DC's bowling uh, this season. If you remember that game against CSK where they practically won that game inside power play with their new ball bowlers, I think against SRS they will face Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma. against those new ball bowlers, Khalil Ahmed, Ishan Sharma, and Mukesh Kumar. I think it will be a good match. It will be a good battle. And just talking about numbers, DC actually have an upper hand over SRH there. They have won 6 games, 2 SRHs 4. There was one tied game. Yeah, and again, if you look at the history of this venue, then we always like to keep an eye on that average winning margin in terms of runs, and it is very
Yes.
high. It is very high. It is 38. That tells us that there have been some one-sided games that have been played on at this venue. That's never a good sign for
Yep.
neutrals because we like to see some close games. And
Yep.
even the average overs played to chase the target is 18.4. So on an average, teams uh, have been winning with 8 balls to spare. So again, that's not a good sign if you are looking for a neck-to-neck game.
Yeah, I think just the form that the Sunrisers Hyderabad currently are in and the confidence that they have with their captain charisma, Mr. Pat Cummins,
Yeah.
it's going to be a tough ask for Delhi to turn this around and beat them.
And
But
Pat
hey,
Cummins will once again face Rishabh Pant. We know that battle, Rishabh Pant against Pat Cummins.
yeah,
So it is going to be a good
absolutely.
game.
Yeah, no, it'll be a good game to watch. And as you mentioned, both teams have players in form, batters in form, and bowlers in form. So yeah, should be a good game to watch. Um, we've just got the one game tomorrow, then followed by the Super Sunday, obviously with 2 games. Anything other than this to discuss on today's show, Sarvesh?
I think I felt that Mayank Yadav could could have played this game, but they were talking to Justin Langer in between the game, and he said that he is bowling well in the nets. He's back. He's obviously bowling well for them in the nets. So he says that he will hope that he will be ready for that next game against CSK, which will be played at Chennai. So Mayank Yadav, it seems that he's not too far away from a comeback. He didn't play this game, but I think they will play him against CSK in Chennai. So yeah, he's going to be back.
Yeah, I was watching that interview, and one thing I must say to everyone who's watching this podcast, Justin Langer is probably one of the best Hollywood actors who never had a career in Hollywood. I think the man is wasting his time and talent being a coach or playing cricket. He should be in Hollywood, do movies. I think I just love his whole character and the persona that he brings, the passion, the energy, the intensity, his sense of humor. I saw a series called The Test. I don't know if you've seen that one, Sarvesh,
Yeah.
but he was hilarious in that. And yeah, I just think he's missing an absolute, Hollywood's missing an absolute gem of an actor in Justin Langer. Well, that's all we have today on the Sneakometer podcast. We love doing this podcast, bringing it to you. We've started a new segment of doing some shorts as well, so watch out for that. Follow us on Twitter, on Insta, and all the other social media handles on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel so that every time we put something up, you're getting notifications. And yes, until tomorrow, have a good night's sleep. And I will also get to bed because it's Saturday morning in New Zealand, which means I don't have work and I can actually go to sleep and have a good sleep. Until tomorrow, take care and see you again in once to bring you the next game. Thank you.